Don and his wife, Renee, are the parents of two daughters, Amy, the eldest, and Sarah, the younger sister. One night, they are having a family dinner. Sarah gets up to leave. Don asks her where she's going. She tells him she is going to a bonfire party that she had told her mother about weeks ago. Don refuses to let her leave and demands her to go to her room. Sarah sneaks out from her room's window and goes to the party with her boyfriend Chris, who is a motorcycle dude. At the party, Sarah and Chris dance. Chris sings her a song that he had written for her, and they make out and spend the whole night together. Later, her parents go to her room and find out that Sarah snuck out. Next morning, Sarah comes home to find Don waiting for her outside. Don is pissed and screams at her, telling her that as long as she lives in his house, she must follow his rules and grounds her for a week. In Sarah's bedroom, Sarah tells Amy and Renee about her future plans, which are moving away as soon as she turns 18, starting from Florida, where she will be working as a waitress and then work her way across all USA states and then travel the whole world. Poor girl, we all know that all of that ain't gonna happen. Don overhears them though and immediately heads to the basement as he starts thinking about what he's gonna do with her. Don spends the next few months preparing the bomb shelter in the basement, originally built by the house's previous owner during the time Austria was under Nazi control, as he plans to lock Sarah inside so she can't leave. One day, Renee goes out shopping. Don waits till she leaves and asks Sarah to help him move some stuff in the basement. Sarah does as he tells her, but once they enter the shelter, Don locks her up as she screams for help, but the room is soundproof. Sarah is now locked up in an empty room with no way out. She opens the box that he asked for her help to move and finds some clothes, food cans, and a flashlight. She uses pots to piss in, and the keypad has only 3 tries before shutting down the electricity and air circulation. Don comes back 2 days later. He tells her that she is being punished for her behavior and that she must earn her privileges. Then he assaults and rapes her. Renee is so worried about her, she calls the cops. The police think Sarah ran away, but Renee just doesn't believe that. Still, the police can't do much because she's 18. 7 days later, Sarah tries to take every opportunity to scream for help and fight to be freed. Bruised and battered, Sarah thinks of Chris and the song he made for her, as her only escape is through her mind. That day, Chris shows up at the house to ask about Sarah. Don tells him that she ran away to Florida with a guy named Steve right after her graduation. 21 days later, Don visits Sarah, bringing her a cake for her 18th birthday and a red dress. He forces her to blow out the candle and wear the red dress for him, and asks her to pick anything she wants, because now she has earned it. Sarah asks to be released, but Don refuses, so she asks for a clock instead. He agrees to the clock and forces her to come closer, probably to get raped again. Fast forward to 354 days later. Sarah is now pregnant from all the time Don had raped her. As she's sweeping the floor, her water breaks. She delivers her baby with no proper medical assistance, only using a nursing book to guide her through childbirth. The baby is a girl, and she names her Marie. 4 years later, Marie is now older, and Sarah is pregnant again. Don has provided them with some basic necessities, such as a table, cupboards, a mattress, etc., etc. Sarah asks him to release them, but he gets mad at her and leaves. Later, he gets them a TV as a Christmas present.
This is gonna be our window to the outside.
Upstairs, Renee is still grieving on Sarah not ever believing that she may have ran away. She asks Don if she could hire a private investigator, to which he gets mad again and of course refuses. 7 years later, Sarah has given birth to a boy named Michael. Amy gets outside of the house to find Chris still asking about Sarah. When Amy tells him that they haven't heard anything about her, Chris tells her that Dawn told him that Sarah ran away with Steve.
Steve?
Amy then tells him everything about Dawn and that there's no one such as Steve and that she thinks that Dawn might have done something to her. Later, Renee confronts Dawn about Steve and accuses him of doing something to Sarah, and again, he gets mad. Renee tells him that she's gonna get a job and hire a private investigator herself. They both fight, and Dawn drops his keys. Amy picks up the keys and sneaks to the basement, knowing that he spends too much time there. She tries to look for anything, only to get caught by Dawn. He aggressively takes the keys and makes her leave. Sarah has given birth to another boy and names him Thomas. This time, Sarah successfully convinces Dawn to leave baby Thomas on the doorstep with a note from her admitting that she ran away and got pregnant, asking Renee to take care of her newborn baby till she comes back for him. After Renee takes the baby, Dawn finds a smaller note Sarah left underneath the baby, asking her mom to call the cops because she is trapped in the basement. Dawn takes the note to the basement, confronts Sarah, and rapes her again, resulting to her being pregnant for the 4th time. 17 years later, while Sarah and Marie are reading, they notice a leak in the ceiling from the heavy rain outside. Sarah spends the whole night trying to dig their way out with a spoon. The hole she made leads to the front yard. Sarah then flashes a light, signaling a neighbor for help. The neighbor immediately knocks on the front door and tells Dawn. Dawn goes downstairs and beats the shit out of the poor girl, causing her to miscarry. Dawn takes the dead baby and buries it in the house garden. 18 years later, Dawn fills Sarah, Marie, and Michael in about Thomas, who is now older and plays baseball, and definitely lives a better life than Marie and Michael, causing them to demand to be let out and turning them against Sarah, making them think that she's the one who can let them out. After Dawn leaves, Marie and Michael fight with Sarah and start asking questions. Sarah then tells them the truth about her and Dawn. The kids then start to panic, especially Marie, because she has trouble breathing and have an asthma attack due to limited air supply down there. Dawn gets fired from his job and goes back home one day and funnels carbon monoxide into the basement by keeping the car started, air vents with a hose, while Sarah and the kids are sleeping. But a few moments later, Thomas walks in on Dawn in the garage and questions what his quote-unquote grandfather is up to. For a moment, it looks like Dawn might do something terrible, but he hesitates and backs down. Instead, he heads to the basement to check on Sarah and the kids and finds them safe, still asleep. 20 years later, Marie's asthma attacks only get worse and she needs serious medical attention. Dawn walks in while Marie's still struggling to breathing and having an asthma attack on the floor. Sarah begs Dawn to take them to a hospital immediately. Finally, Dawn agrees. Leaving Michael in the basement, Dawn rushes them to a hospital, driving as fast as he could. They arrive at the hospital.
Not a word.
The doctors try their best to save Marie. As Dawn and Sarah wait in the reception, a doctor comes and gives Dawn a paper to fill about Marie's medical history and his contact information. Sarah spills water on the paper, and while Dawn is getting a new form, Sarah makes her way to get help immediately. She finds a cop and tells him and the doctor everything. Finally, the cop arrests Dawn and he is imprisoned for life. Marie wakes up and Sarah tells her the good news. The police finally bring Michael out from the basement. Renee and Thomas stand in shock, not believing what happened.